Alright, this is sort of a spur of the moment thing, but I thought I'd kind of, I did a lot of work on redesigning Tango's iron trench farms, and I kind of thought I'd show you some of the designs I came up with. So yeah, just starting off, this is more or less of the simplest model I have. It's a lot shorter than the original design, as you can see. I moved all the doors into just one level at the top and one level at the bottom. So the reason I can do this is because I've got just one block of sunlight required through the center, and I'm feeding off all the deaths of all the golems into the side here. I used lava because, as you can probably see, I've got multiple detector villagers, and the reason for that is that I redesigned this so you can actually extend it past 32 villages. This one is 48, but I've got another one that's 96, and it works fine. So once you get to that level, the amount of golems spawned is quite a lot, let's say. So if you just try to shovel them all to the end and kill them there, it kind of starts causing pileups. So that's why I've got just a lava trench like that. Other than that, I've kind of cleaned up quite a bit of the redstone. I got it so that all of it is controlled from just there and here. Mostly the only actual parts you want to change in case you're adding more villagers or anything is just right here with the number of villagers divided by 2. That's the only part that needs to change. All of that's all set up as required. All of that's all good. If you do a reset, you don't have to go into here to do any changing between hoppers and droppers and all of that. The entire reset is done automatically, so you don't need to break any of the redstones or anything like that in case you want to do a reset. Just whether you're doing testing or something, you don't have to wait until it's finished or go in and try and do manual stuff around here. So that's basically the key points here. As you can see, did a bit of changes to the secondary village as well. It's a bit smaller in size as well, a bit, cleaner as well. So that's basically it. The key points really here are the fact that the resetting is cleaned up so that, well, if you want to reset it while it's doing reset, you can do that. And you can increase the number of villages from something like 8 all the way up to, well, really whatever you want. On the inside, I put in a nice LED display of where it's at. So then you've got production and the 2 stages. Just, you've got several lines running down, connecting through with these, so that just shows you which ones they're at. Got the automatic reset, mostly the same as Tango's here. So yeah, that's basically it. If you actually count it, it still produces roughly the same as Tango's design. Well, a bit more since there's 48 villages instead of 32, so you can guess how much. Just continuing on, so that's that. This is a bit of an earlier design, but as you can see, there's quite a bit more redstone, so I, cut off like half of that away. But as you can see, there's 3 village detectors here, and this is 96 villages. I will not be showing the rebuild, but if in case you want to see that it actually works, there's all the villages, all of them created in a nice neat lineup like that. And there's all those golems dying off. So yep, it works. I mean, sure, this one takes what, 3 times as long for the resetting to occur as Tango's, but you have to pay for a larger design with something. So there you go. And now for the crowning moment of awesome here. This took me quite a while to design, so yeah, this will take a while to load. I'll actually remove the village mod, because with it, even my computer can't handle showing you this. So yeah, I'm hoping you're amazed at this, because this took quite a bit to make. This holds a staggering 512 villages. That's, in case you're counting, 16 times more than Tango's design. I kind of limited myself to only a 10 by 10 chunk. As you can see, there's the green outline. That's 10 by 10 chunks. And the reason for that is I believe the spawn area is something like 11 by 11, so you can fit that in. I could have increased it by one more, adding 16 more villages. Well, okay, 16 times 4, so that's what, 64 more villages. But I would have needed to add another set of village detectors, and it kind of really went over the top starting from there. So there you go, it's 512. As you can see, I had to change all the redstoning, like completely redesign it. This part is actually stage 2. This right here is stage 1 design. The reason for the 512, as you can, if you actually count it, it's what, like 124 slices, but it's 512 villages because every single slice has 4 villages within it. Now I'll turn on the village marker mod, and I'm kind of sorry for any lag that you'd experience or that I'm experiencing while recording this. But yeah, the village view mod, or whatever it's called, has not been designed to view 512 villages at the same time. So I guess it's just not optimized, and my frame rate drops from like 60 to 10. But anyway, each one of these is a separate village connecting. So from here you've got every slice. As you can see, there's blue, red for the very first slice, and pink, I guess, and yellow here, all connecting into this crazy bunch collection here. And that, can I get in? Yeah. And that happens for every single one of them. So there you go. Had to do quite a bit of redesigning as well. As you can see, there's 2 slices for sunlight to pass through over here. I'm using quite, let me turn off village view mod so I can actually see what's happening, and so can you. So I'm using an abundant amount of signs to hold back the water and direct it as I wanted, because with the villages or the doors positioned as they had to be, that had to be made. As you can see, it spawns golems like at an insane rate. As you can see, they're dropping, and there they go. Like a second doesn't go by without like a group of them dropping. Like seriously, it's like raining iron golems here. Yeah. Anyway, I actually did not manage to establish any way of automatically collecting loot, simply because it's producing it at such a rate that I had 5 hoppers collecting loot, funneling it into 2 sets of dropper pipelines, and I had 4 sets of item towers similar to Tango's, and then the thing was still clogging up at that point, so I just decided to say screw it. I replace it with just a water line going in, and just this simple contraption here, following what many do for their insane sized farms. So you just come here, you flip a switch, you just come here and start picking up all the loot. So going here, there's the loot, and as you can see, it's increasing by quite a lot at an insane rate. Like, I've just been talking to you now, and I've got, 62 now already, or soon to be 62? Yeah, so there, or 64, sorry, right. So yeah, this is, I don't expect anyone to actually be building something like this. Realistically, I build the first design I showed you, and then, from there I kind of naturally had to make it so that you could increase it in size to however much you want. And then I was just riding on a bus, and suddenly I had this idea of what if you could create an iron trench farm where you've got the entire door set up right along the center and 8 villages or 8 rows of villages all around it in a set up like that, just hanging in the air. And it was an awesome idea. It wouldn't work because with 8 villages it just became way too big to even consider making. But yeah, I did manage to get the setup running with 4, so that's something. Okay, I'm kind of really proud of getting this all up and running and actually working. I did manage to record a reconstruction video for this. It takes a staggering 8 hours to get the entire setup done. As you can imagine, with 512 villages, it does require that much time, even though stage 1 is done in pairs, so you've got 2 groups going one way and 2 groups going the other way there. But even so, it takes an insane amount of time. Just going on here, I won't really get into too much detail, but as you can imagine, or as you should hopefully know if you've been following Tango's tutorial, the entire design that he's got running, or the theory behind it, is that in stage 1 you create all the villages, starting from the oldest and going to the newest, and then in stage 2 you reposition them from the secondary villages into the primary ones, starting with the oldest and going up to the newest. This way, every single newly attached village that gets sent to the center will get its own set of doors, and the villages that have been moved into there previously don't clamp up on those doors because, well, they're newer, so the game thinks that it should go to the oldest one. So that's the reasoning behind there. And if you actually remember from the creation, it actually creates it in pairs, which is the reason why it's actually got a bit more complex here, because it starts from this side, so I might add a video later on of the actual reconstruction going, but the way it does is it creates a village here, followed by shooting it off. Well, okay. Creates a village here and one at the bottom. Then both of them shoot off to the secondary structure, making it 1 village, 2 village, 3 and 4. Note that, I'm going by oldest, so this is the oldest one, second oldest, third oldest, fourth oldest. Then it shoots off into here and does the exact same thing on the other side. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. Then it shoots back to this side, doing 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And it all works perfectly, and I was really happy with that until I realized that created a huge problem for stage 2, where if you remember Tango's, it just goes straight in a line, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it really can't do that, so it actually needs to do this one first, then this one, then go to the second line, starting from the very end here, so with these ones being the very last ones, and over here it would be the 8th last one, I guess. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this one being, that one at the bottom being the last one, it gets to shoot off and get added. Then the top one, then the bottom pre-last row, and then the top pre-last row. And as you can imagine, if I proceed to the next one here, then what about this side? So then it needs to go back 1 to get back to the last row, do the bottom last row, top last row here, and then bottom second last row, top second last row. And, then it just repeats that by sending it off here and doing the bottom third last, top third last, bottom fourth last, top fourth last, and shooting back here and continuing. So seriously, my first design for that was an entire matrix of combining all of these all of these lines here, they're going to village detectors in these towers. I'll show you that in a bit. But as you can imagine, there's 4 sets here, 4 sets here. There's the line here to get it to proceed to the next 2. So it does it the same way as stage 1. So each time I send a signal here, it knocks 2 more blocks off, which is where this part comes in. Since it really doesn't matter, I can actually just break these and show you. So there you go. So it opens up every odd or even, I'm not quite sure. But if you go down here, you'll notice that down here there's this line, that line over here, and over there, which also connects to the same pistons, just opposite ones. So when this works, it opens up the other set of them. So using those 2 inputs and this line here to proceed to the next set of 2s, I can actually do the entire connections with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, as I was mentioning before, where you've got to go +1, -1 on the rows, every other one. But anyway, that still left me with 4 connections here, 4 connections here, and another 3 here, up to a grand total of what, like 11. So the original design was to have an entire matrix with step-by-step inputs of which ones to turn on and off. This still is actually a matrix, but it's more or less 3-dimensional, so it takes up much less space. And yeah, that's basically it for that. I won't go into any more detail. I probably can. There's quite a lot to talk about, but anyway, I'll just show you this part here. This is the set of village detectors. So there's all of them. There's each one of these connects to several of them. Just the same piston, redstone block, redstone signal down. And yeah, there's what I remember, like 6 of them, I think. There's what, 1 villager, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6. So there's 6 villagers in each one of these towers doing the detection. I placed nice lights here so I can actually troubleshoot the system, and trust me, it was a hell of a long time to get this actually working and everything properly done. Anyway, so there they are. They show that they're all turned on and doing the connections properly. As you remember, or maybe notice, there's the set of villages or village doors here along 1, 2. Each one of these is only connects to half of them. So just by their distances, this one is only up to around here, and the ones on this side are only up to here. So when these ones are up, these doors are detected, but not these ones, which helps quite a lot with all the connections required. But anyway, there's a set of doors here. There's 2 sets of doors here with 10, 10, 10, 10 doors per slice. Then there's the 2 golem spawning pads. I actually went back to the original Tango's design with the center drop instead of the side drop, simply because so many of them are spawning that it took a long time for them to travel from one edge to the other, and that was messing up the spawning rates. And yeah, so going back down, there's once again 2 rows, so 10 doors, 10 doors, 10 doors, 10 doors per slice. And over on these other ones, there's only 2 villagers each, with 1 here and 1 at the top. It's mostly the same thing with, redstone pistons going all the way down, so I won't mention that. And then just, same thing. This is more or less standard, so you've got, whoa, too much. Yeah, they're kind of dying there. Anyway, so same setup. You've got the lava going along the top, you've got the water going along the bottom. as you can see, there's water flowing. It collects all the items into that slot here with just using ice. Using ice, it just takes all the items and pushes them all the way back to the front where they just get collected, and you can pick them up at whenever you want. And if you don't want them, you can just come on. Anyway, flip a switch and they all get destroyed. So yeah, I mean, I actually did collect these and rebuild them instead of taking them from, here, which is sorry, which is sort of funny since, it would have taken a bit less time for me to just do that. But anyway, I did replace the reset. Instead of doing it automatically, I put a reset switch simply because, well, it says 6 hours. It actually is around 8. But anyway, so with 8 hours of reset, I highly doubt that anyone would want to put it on automatic. So if you come up there and you stand there and you aren't getting items every second, you can just come there and click the switch and wait for 6 hours, I guess, if you really feel like it. So yeah, or meaning in case you want to actually build this thing. Yeah, I'm not gonna be posting any tutorial on how to build this. I highly doubt that anyone in the right mind would want to build this thing. I mean, no, really, I kind of realize this is a bit on the insane side, and I freely admit that I built this using a 32 setup here and then just cloned it with MC-Edit 4 times like that. But I did build the original 32 villages by myself with no help whatsoever from other programs. I set up the primary system, or the stage 1 system and stage 2. Got it working with 32 sets of 4 villages, then cloned it and kind of changed up a bit of the redstone to get it all to work. So there you go. So I'm freely admitting that I used MC-Edit to build just a quarter of this monstrosity and then cloned it. But come on guys, I mean, the design of the redstone itself is probably worth more than anything of that. And trust me, when you've got the one to get the system reset of 8 hours, the amount of time it takes to troubleshoot this is quite honestly insane. Quite often I just left it overnight, come back in the morning and just viewed a video showing me what happened in high speed, like ×8 or ×16, and just zoomed in on the parts where this stuff started breaking and tried to figure out what was happening from there. Because 8 hours is, yeah, not even I'm gonna try and do anything of that sort. So yeah, that's basically all I have for you guys for today. If you really want me to get out a tutorial for any of these, leave it in the comments. I was thinking of getting a tutorial for this one, which I consider to be an upgrade over the original Iron Trench, due to, as I said, it's much shorter, it's a lot more neater designed, the resets can be done no matter when you feel like it, and it can be extended to however many villages you want. There's no higher order mathematics involved. All you do is you build however many villages you want, starting from 8 to 128, I think, would be a good stopping point, because after that you just can't really load all of it at once, and there's a limit for spawn chunks, and there's the limit of how much you can see, and unless you've got Optifine working, you really can't go much further than that. I mean, I'm not saying you can't, but besides which, I highly doubt anyone would need any more production than that, I should say. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it's just, you know, I consider it a better design simply because of its size, and you know, that's basically on my side. As you can see, I replaced the ice trench going along to bring the item back with just a hopper line, or sorry, a dropper line with hopper setup so that repeaters can be placed, and just simple setup here, which when an item drops here, it just sends off a signal setting off the RS NOR latch, which just causes this to flicker, getting the item to flow on and getting these items from here to flow into the hopper. And once that's done, it just resets itself and stops its counts and just waits until another item drops in. So yeah, that's basically all I have for you guys for today. You know, drop off a comment or something. This design actually took like 3 weeks to do, because I know it doesn't seem like it from the other things I've shown you now, but I'm actually rather new to redstone or Minecraft in general. Before this, I actually built just the general iron trench following the exact tutorial from Tango, and other than that, I did a regular monster spawner with, you know, skeleton monster spawner. You bring up with the water, you drop them down, and then you just gather XP more or less. And I wanted it to look good, so I put in lights that I could turn on and off, and several other redstone features into there. And that actually took 3 days for me to do, because I had no idea how the redstone worked at all. So after that, I followed Tango's tutorial, and that was helpful, and I built an iron trench in one of the, you know, multiplayer worlds that me and my friends use. So after doing that, I thought I could, well, if you've seen the original iron trench, there's a lot of empty spaces in the design. And I do realize it makes some of the redstone a bit easier to do it that way, but it just screamed inefficient to me. Maybe it's just me, but, you know, it just looked a bit too big, tall, to kind of, you know, you can do quite a lot of things to make it look good. As you can hopefully see, I'm kind of more of an aesthetic nut, so I like things to look good. Even my insanely large 512 village golem farm, as you probably seen, looked not too shabby, I should say, quite good. So yeah, that's basically all I have. I won't be taking up any more of your time. So yeah, I'll be seeing you guys hopefully sometime later. This is Dan signing off, and see you guys.